Hour. So welcome to the this November meeting for the steering committee for the health of Higgins Lake. You join me for the pledge to flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Here,
Here.
Boozer, here. Franklin, what? Yeah. Oh, you're Walker.
On vacation.
Okay, she's on vacation, sorry. All right, Walker. Osling. And Cheney.
Here. I did put a copy in your package, I see, but you should have had a chance to review the meetings from the. Oh, well, first of all, you have an agenda here for the November meeting, tonight's meeting. And are there any additions or corrections to that? Did anybody would like to make anything to add that's not on there? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to accept that agenda.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda.
Okay. Walker, second.
Yeah.
Jack. All those in favor, by aye? Aye. Okay, and then on to the approval of the minutes for the October 21st. I neglected to put one in your package there, but you should have had a copy of that. We sent those out. Were there any corrections to those minutes that anybody had? I didn't see any comments on them earlier, so I'd entertain a motion to accept those minutes. Also move. Yeah. Support. All those in favor, by aye? Aye. Opposed? Okay. And the approval of the October subcommittee reports as submitted. There's, I think I gave one on your. We figured out. Here's the one that's just, those are the same thing in the notes, so here's just a copy of them, they'll be submitted to the board. The board's gonna. That's the same thing that's in there, the verbiage is the same, it's just pointed out difference. That's the reports that I received from the subcommittee chairs for their activity for last month. Similar to what we did the previous month, we started getting into a little bit of routine about how this is coming together. So I would entertain a motion to accept those reports. Unless anybody wants to spend some time to go through them, they've been out there. I printed them, sent them to you earlier, so you should have had a chance to look at them. Joey? Motion by Bowser. Support. By Walker. All those in favor, by aye? Opposed? Okay. That brings us down to public comment. Is there any public comment on the agenda items, or for that matter on anything? If you have any comment, we'll be glad to take them now. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to I didn't have anything from old business from last month, and so we'll step right into new business. And the first item on the list would be to welcome Don Cheney to the steering committee. Mr. Cheney has been in the area his family's been in the area for a long time. Why don't you give us a 2-minute update on your bio, footprint down, yeah.
Family's been here since 1904. They owned and operated Cheney's Sunset Villa on Cheney Point. And I've been coming here all my life. was a more of a weekend warrior than anything. But 4.5 years ago, my wife and I relocated here permanently. So I'm honored to assist in any way I can as far as the business of this committee and all the subcommittees. And thank you for that opportunity.
Everything, well, welcome aboard and we're gonna put you to work. So,
Okay.
honeymoon's over. The next item on here would have been, or is the grant opportunity, and in your packets is, there's, if you go back a couple of pages, you'll find a little description of what this opportunity is all about. And I'm just gonna read down a few of the highlights, just mostly for the folks in the audience. But Eagle is annually, they'll set loose money for different grant opportunities. And this one is released, they have released what's called an NPS Watershed Council Capacity Building RFP. And so the highlights of this are it's up to $40,000 per project per applicant. The proposals are due shortly at December 10th. And we have started the planning for this already. This is the first that the steering committee has seen too much of this, but we've had a couple of calls. Ed Panyard's on the phone there, and Captain Boyd and I have talked, and we're starting to get the ball rolling on this. Some of the items that they're interested in your project are strengthening, they call it strengthening the internal watershed capacity, including training, data and information systems, outreach and educational materials, equipment or supplies supporting watershed work, development of workflows, and planning resources. And as we went through this, each of the subcommittee chairs took a look at this and said, yeah, there's stuff in there that would be good for our committee that we would like to apply for different pieces of it. So I had each of the committee chairs put a paragraph together about what they would like to see identified in this grant application. And we're going to consolidate those, bring them all together. We have another call on Friday this week to go through those numbers and those applications and sort of make sure they fit within the 40. We'll apply for the full $40,000 and make sure that the pieces are split up for the level of interest that each of them have. So I think I will. There's a fair amount of verbiage there. I can read through this. And it's early, I guess, bear with me. I'll read through this and give you kind of an idea what we talked about. And this is very much a draft because we just got this started in the last Friday, we got started on it. So we're just starting to put it together. But this information is what we're gonna meet with the staff people at Eagle next Monday on a Zoom call to lay out to them what we're looking at and get some guidance from them. If we're barking up the wrong tree or if there's something something different we should be adding into it. So anyway, I'll read through this and I should give you an idea of what we're thinking. As a follow-up to a failed attempt to build a lake-wide sewer system, Garris Township Board created a department to take a comprehensive approach to the overall condition of Higgins Lake. The Health of Higgins Lake was initiative was formed in December of 2024. Over 50 volunteers from Garris and surrounding townships with widely diverse backgrounds and expertise have joined the effort. We believe that this comprehensive approach to the needs of the lake may be best approached with the support and guidance of the township government-based effort. There have been many organization attempts to identify specific problems with little identifiable success. The Health of Higgins Lake initiative has brought representatives from all major special interest groups together under the umbrella of the township government into a single group to share significant knowledge and search for solutions. A 5-member, expanded to 7 steering committee was formed to oversee the work of a specific task subcommittees, so they report directly to the township board. These specific committees include a science committee, who has assembled surveys, studies, papers, research, and other materials in a secure database that is now searchable. Smaller work groups are addressing 8 specific concerns and researching current data, as well as recommending additional areas that need further information. Conclusions will be published in a final report. The Communications Committee has created a website, social media presence, and they're working on outreach and is taking the work of the project to the residents through several media. The IT and Funding Committee created a secure network to store the work of the committees and assist with all things technical. They also have enlisted the assistance of individuals trained in grant writing and researching available funding. Road End Committee was formed to evaluate the impact 80 road ends that terminate on the water's edge all have made to Higgins Lake. They have now updated studies done in 1991 and 2010 into a current evaluation. A final report will be published soon. The on-site septic systems are being addressed by the Septic Committee, and a Garish Township septic ordinance is being drafted. This effort is working closely with Central Michigan District Health Department to be sure the ordinance is in step with the health code. Each of these committees has developed a plan and are involved in ongoing research and implementation. All committees need funding at some level. We wish to work with the staff at Eagle to evaluate the best approach to apply for funding to address and assist our efforts. Listed next are project-specific funding request items that our subcommittees have identified for consideration. Steering Committee has oversight to all committee activities, is not requesting any funding at this time. The Science Committee is not requesting any funding at this time. Communications, our primary task is community outreach and delivering an accurate message. We would like to do the following: develop a brochure to hand out at events, a trifold and colored, swag giveaways, which have price small pads of paper, pens, etc. More yard signs. We could use some help on improving the website. We're subscribing to initial email marketing service to enhance ease of signing up and sending emails and possible geo-marketing. Coffee, donuts, seminars that focus on specific topic during the summer. Additionally, there we go. This is still with the Communications Committee. There have been questions from the Science Committee wondering about the public perception as to what issues are around the lake. There are also questions about how educated our residents are. An opinion survey has been suggested, and Prof. Boudet was recommended to us. She is a GVSU professor and has experience surveyed areas with water concerns. And she's provided a quote to do this survey. The Road Ends Committee has updated the reports conducted in 91 and 2010 to include current conditions and identify areas that still need additional attention. They're working with the Road Commission to implement remediation efforts at problematic road ends over the next budget cycles. While the report is concise, it will require funding to publish and print the results. We're asking for assistance with this effort. IT and Funding Committee, they want to maintain and strengthen our Zotero metadata framework, one of the organization's strongest information management assets, ensuring consistent tagging, organization, and long-term integrity of curated research. Support the ongoing curation outflow that extracts catalog information from study submission forms and prepares metadata for science and communications. Maintain, refine, and document the Healthy Higgins Lake Nextcloud environment, including folder architecture, permissions, file handling outflows, backup practices, cross-committee collaboration, and structures. Expand IT capacity by training additional volunteers so Zotero, Nextcloud, and the curation workflow remain accessible across multiple trained individuals rather than a small core team. Enhance automation and simplify tools used in the submission, curation, metadata process to reduce manual effort and improve consistency. And the septic committee. The septic committee has taken a slightly different approach to the implementation of an ordinance. A police powers ordinance that relies heavily on the data captured by the health department is centered to the ordinance. The health department has been collecting data on individual properties about the septic and wells for decades. Until recently, this data has been on paper in filing cabinets with no ability to do any meaningful research. The health department has enlisted a company, Fetch GIS, to scan and digitize these records and create searchable fields from the information. Tank size, drain field size, location, domestic water well size, location, depth, etc. are all captured where the information is available, which is not everywhere. The health department, with the help of several volunteers from Garish and Lyon Townships, have now taken scan files and entered the data into several fields in their database. This work is approximately 60% complete, and a significant effort of funding is required to complete the work. Additional staff will complete the mapping of the sites and then assist in the evaluation of all sites to determine the level of compliance of each parcel and assign it a code. The goal will be that code is a level of compliance code, A, B, C, or D, probably, maybe a color code yet to be determined. The goal will be to bring all parcels within Harris Township to a green compliance, or maybe a level A or a level 1 compliance. The health department with several, once this is substantially complete, we will have dramatically reduce the level of contamination caused by failing on-site sewer disposal systems in the township. Our early work with the health department indicates that other governmental agencies here in Michigan are watching our efforts closely and have an interest in following suit. So that gives, and then with regard to a funding summary, we've broken down the $40,000 into 3 or 4 buckets that we're still gonna refine some. I've got temporary numbers in here now, but suffice it to say that the $40,000 gets spread over those activities we talked about, and we'll make application for those. So that effort is coming up. That call, the internal group is meeting again on Friday this week to go through these numbers and refine this piece so that Catherine can finish up the application and get the application ready to go. What we need to do by the protocol here would be for this board to approve this effort of the to make application to legal for this grant. And when we approve that and forward it off, we'll forward it off to the township. I'll forward it off to the township board, and they'll need to approve it as well. This is a kind of activity that needs to be approved by both, and they'll approve it. Right now, I'm thinking it's probably going to be at their work session on December 4th, and getting it ready for a signature prior to December 10th when it's due. So I'd open that up to you guys if you've got any questions about what I just was reading about. I know it's the first that some of you've seen of it, and I'm glad to try to answer them. There's a lot of information about the grant that's still news to me, but any questions?
There will be additional review before forwarding on to the board.
Yep, this is very much a draft. It still needs to be You know, you folks will be all copied in on the next step that we do. You're welcome to get into the Zoom call on Friday. You know, so that you can stay abreast of it if need be, but yeah, there'll be more, the final drafts before they go to the township board will all be in front of you, so you can look at it.
We'll see the final draft before the fourth.
Yeah, yeah. This is just an update as to, you know, get you advised of what's in there.
I'd make a motion,
Okay, so let me just read, I put together a motion here that I think gets us covered. Yes, would be mostly by bigger. That the Higgins Lake Steering Committee approves and authorizes the interim chairman to forward the grant application of the NSP Watershed Council to the Garrish Township Board for their action and approval. All right, yeah, okay, that needs support.
I'll support it.
Julie. All those in favor by aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, that takes care of that, and like I said, I will keep you in the loop as to how those come along. There will be a call. Excuse me, on Friday that you're welcome to listen into if you'd like. Any other comments on that? If not, we'll move on to subcommittee reports.
Brad's not gonna be here.
Okay. I'll start with Brad, and Brad already submitted his report, me last week. I'll just go through what he sent to, what he's already submitted. Our eight work groups or subcommittees are busy working. Each work group is assigned a problem to study. The committees are nearshore water quality, invasive species, groundwater and drinking water contamination, watershed quality, changing fisheries, deep water quality, recreational activities, and non-nutrient contamination. Each problem has a list of questions created by the entire science committee for the subcommittees to address. The process each subcommittee will utilize to address the question has been established, and in its simplest forms, each committee will A, study the questions posed for the problem, gather the data, evaluate the data, analyze it, and draw conclusions and draft a report. The science committee will now meet monthly. The full science committee will now meet monthly. The agenda for the next few months will be updated by the subcommittees with feedback and input from the science committee members. For the next few months, the science committee will be meeting the third Wednesday of the month. Any comments on Brad's report? If not, I would move on to the communications report, and Sue's here. Would you like to fill us in?
I think you have it all in front of you, right? So.
Yep.
Read my classes too. Basically, we continue to try to improve our, email list that we have for email campaigns. We're a little over 200. We did do those downtown last weekend, and we got about another 12 or so. On that, we also FOIA'd the Lake Level County and asked for their email list. We were denied. They claim that they don't own it, which I question, but they claim they don't own it, that Constant Contact, their subcontractor owns it. But they were very willing to forward anything that we sent, so they're on our distribution list now. If they,
So they're gonna forward you create something and send it to them, and they'll forward it to their email. Oh, okay.
that's what they said they would do.
Mhm.
I think we talked about it before. We have a target of 2 distributions per month. One that's an overview of all the committees, which we know all runs about a month and a half behind, because the approval that you just gave for the committee reports is what we'll start using to put out in December. And then 1 month, we're doing a more deep dive into one committee. Our social media, Facebook, I can update this, that we were able to change it from Marty Barnett's name to Garrish Township. It's not an easy task, but they managed to do it, so that Facebook has moved and it's now under a government authority. Marty's not getting it land-based.
It's still information only, or is it,
No, if it's, since it's a government authority, they can count it back now, which, I don't think we have a real laid out strategy exactly how to deal with that yet. We haven't got any comments yet, because it's just moved, but that's,
so is Marty, she the one monitoring those?
she's still
She's
monitoring,
monitoring?
yes. So that, yeah, that's something we don't have an actual forthcoming strategy yet, but we'll have to talk about that, in the committee, and decide exactly how we're gonna deal with those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Website's gotten a little bit of improvement, and needs a lot more. Community outreach, we did get a full page explaining who we are to go out in the tax bills. So when you get your tax bill, it won't just be a small amount in the Gazette, it'll be a full page describing who we are and what we are, and asking them to sign up for everything else. And like I just said, you could those that out town. And then, I had some information about the survey on whether, you think that's a good use of money or not. It's like $8,500. I've heard both good and bad things. People want it, people don't want it. They don't know what people think about the lake. They think the brown is, if there is a brown. Also, they don't know if how much they know. You say, oh, well, there's nitrates, and you can't see them in the lake, and people, letting people know. So it would be sort of an opportunity to learn what we need to educate people on. It would be a fully electronic, similar to your township one. But we would do it through Facebook, we might do it through the summer tax, newspapers, maybe even an ad in on Facebook. And, this university professor lady has ways that she can tell where it came from, like you came from a Facebook link, or you came from this place or that place, and there would be a way to make sure it didn't get, unbounded. We did the grant thing, if you notice on my budget, that I did, they're all swags, because some of them were more swaggy than other ones. But there's a couple new things on community on there, that we'll probably do next month report. The geofencing is something you can do once you learn how to do it. It's not particularly expensive to do the geomarketing. We would want to do it in the summer. If you're not familiar with that, that's when your cell phone goes within a certain parameter geographically, then you can hit them with an ad. You know how we suddenly are in Florida and suddenly you get all these Florida ads. Yeah, that's the geofencing. We really like to pay someone a little bit of money to try to get the website pretty and working. It works fine. It just needs to be more attractive. The other thing on here that I just wanted to mention was this coffee and donut seminar. This is sort of a new thing that we've been talking about, but we are considering having Saturday morning sessions, like every other week, coffee and donuts, and then have somebody from the community present. So receptors would present, or the fisheries would present, or the whatever would present, and we would set it up front with all the different topics and the dates, and then publish them. So to try to get people interested to come in and see what it is.
Like here, or?
Yeah, here,
Here, yeah.
right here, and it was, I put $50 a time. I don't know how many donuts we end up, I don't know if we have 10 people or, 40 people, but the money I asked for is strictly for the donuts and coffee. And maybe an ad paper. So that's something that's sort of out there that we're thinking about. And then the brochure is also the other thing that I have in this, so we would really like to have, we'd like to hand that out at like our doors downtown. It would be nice to have a nice little thing you could give people that supposed to us. I can't, this is not to try to say who we are, what we're doing. So. And as always, we're always open for suggestions with the missing. Any questions?
Good report.
Yeah.
I guess my only concern about the survey is that we're only gonna hear from people that fill out the survey. And I don't know whether this had anything to do with with our official website or whether somebody as a public service said, don't rake your leaves into the lake. And they got blasted
Oh, that was yet before yesterday, wasn't
a
it?
couple of days ago. Yeah.
I saw
Mike.
a post, didn't see the blast.
Yeah, my concern is that, okay, that's obviously an issue. Is that person then going to take the trouble to fill out a survey? Or can we try to glean something from these negative comments? These are areas that we need to address.
That's certainly something we could track.
Can we monitor, I mean, you had somebody monitoring the website.
With
So
Facebook, yeah.
that, I think that's something that they need to be checking off. You know, is this an issue that we haven't heard of prior to now?
Yes,
You have some parameters
It's not,
in the list.
exactly.
I have some parameters in mind on the survey. You thought about what you're looking?
Yes, I know, I didn't bring my notes with me, and I should, because I thought we would talk about this, I was grabbing. Mostly it was, what do people think the problem is, and how educated are they? Are the two big things that we would probably walk away with. You know, is it overuse, is it septics, is it, you know, whatever else it could be. This lady that we did have a this was the, she's done this highly sensitive water issues in the past and has gotten out some information. So it would be a tool for us to know what to target. On the Facebook thing, I think it's excellent that we start tracking. We might find it's the same 5 people.
And it might be, and again, we all live through the sewers, okay, we all live through the road ends. Okay, those were all things, and social media been around, we probably would have stacked up millions of negative comments. But at least those negative comments show you what, you know, the public thinks. Especially people that are not gonna waste their time taking a survey.
We did talk about that, about how it can't be too long, because I'm one if it's more than a page and a half.
Yeah.
And I'm not. Because I get tired, and I'm also real sensitive, asking the same question 6 times. All of that, but that's my personal.
So, yeah, so with regard to the survey from GDSU, is it? Where are you in the process of trying to make a decision on that? Is there?
She has just given us the quote and the timing that she would like to see it is to work on it over December and then the spring, but that's not gonna happen because we don't have money and we're not ready.
Yeah.
The other thing that would be good if we postpone for a year is if anybody could say, have you heard of the health of getting slate? And we would get a feedback on how well the communication trainings did. Or not.
Yeah, I think that whole thing needs to more vetted.
I agree.
Try
I agree.
to take a look.
I agree, but it's out there and it was suggested. The foundation also showed some interest in it. It might be something if we decide we're somewhat interested, we could maybe share expenses or something. I'm talking out of turn here. I just know that they've been interested.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Suki. That brings us to the F, to IT with Ed Bailey.
Can you hear? Can you hear me?
Can hear you now.
Okay. So on the funding side, we're still looking at a donate button, but that's kind of been tabled for the Eagle activity, and I'll go into that later. We're also working on a rolling funding resource calendar. We've started work on that. That's out on Nextcloud. we still have to organize it. It's more likely to be in the form of a spreadsheet with sources and other documentation, so it won't just be a calendar. And other than the Eagle stuff, that's pretty much what the funding committee has been doing. From an IT perspective, we, well, as of this report, as of our October report, we were still trying to get Mac OS working for Zotero. We've since gotten that working. We're still questioning whether we are getting our emails out effectively, but we don't have any good data on that yet. But that may be an issue. Jamie and I have had some discussions back and forth on the email. And we've started working on getting general maintenance and backups more precise than what we are. We're still working on that. We have daily backups, but we don't have off-site daily backups. So we're still working on that. And we have the Zotero curating and the literature management. That's, again, it's not day to day, but I'm going to say that, we have something every other week or every week so that we're working on that. One thing that I would like to mention, I'm not quite sure how the IT request didn't get in there completely, but some of the other things that we were looking to do with the Eagle funding was the IT committee will assess in the development of software database and expertise on all efforts for the all committees. We're looking for that, not just the things that we were looking for to bolster our infrastructure. We also are looking at trying to work with the septic committee in terms of the data received for the Central Michigan District Health Department, including parcel IDs and working with those things. So I'm not sure how that got dropped out of the document, Jim, but it did get dropped out. So you and I, before Friday, can review that. But
I think it got moved to.
Yeah.
But I don't see it, so maybe.
No, I know. I sent you a text. The one that you took was the one that I said to drop.
Okay, well, we'll make sure it's the right one for the.
Yeah.
Right.
We need to, because without the other infrastructure stuff and based on the way I wanted to do that, it really doesn't make sense for IT to go after any of some of those things that you were reading. But it does make sense for IT to work with the septic and work with the purple dots and all the things that we had in the original report. And I think that pretty much covers both IT and funding. Any questions?
No, other than just you and I need to get together to get that verbiage right. And
Yeah, I know. I know.
There's all of your stuff is gotta get in there.
Right. And let's try to do that in the morning because, as you know, I have a funding committee meeting at 4 tomorrow. So I'd like to be able to go over that group,
Okay.
with the final documents.
Will do.
And then we can discuss it again open on Friday.
All right.
That's it for me.
Thanks, Ed. And that brings us to roads. Tim's in the audience. Take it away, Tim.
Been working in the yard all day and haven't walked. First smell or the second smell or whatever.
Oh,
Now I'm
you're good.
okay. Okay, so we're having another meeting Thursday. So what we've got done so far is all the data is collected. We have 85 different locations that we have data on. We have some questions that probably need to maybe be addressed by this group. As we're doing our report on different road areas, we'll notice that there's some parallel roads that are in, I think they're probably big producers. Wave action and ice. And we wonder whether those shouldn't be added, maybe it shouldn't be a road end report, maybe it should be a public access report.
Parallel roads like, for example.
Samoset found in there?
Samoset would be one,
Okay,
Gross
yeah.
Beef.
Okay,
There's several of them like that where when you actually look at the area, you can see that there's quite a bit of erosion going on.
Right.
From the
road down across
the. Yeah. So like on Samoset, there's probably 8 or 10 down roads. We've looked at each one of those and made a report on those, but then there's that whole area in between those roads. That's probably taking the same action. So I guess if you want them included, we can do that. It will change sort of the. And with the past reports, in which won't be able to compare it with past reports saying it was 600 tons, now it's, or well, then it was 300 tons, now it's 800 tons. I don't know, moving it up properly, but
probably put it in like
put it
a
subjects or something.
addendum to add those on.
Yeah.
Or-
And we did have a couple of roads that were left out of past reports, and we had those in, that reports on the data reports on those. The question, I forwarded the question about the science of, you know, the amount of erosion that's going on the road based on the materials, is gravel, is it hard surface, is it grass, whatever it is. I forwarded that over to Brad, and I don't know if he had a little chance to look at it. But even Brand took a look at it, yes, it sent me an email right after that saying that he had gone back and found where the numbers came from originally. They were from 1993, he thinks they're sound. They're probably our best way of estimating the amount of materials that are coming in, and then also the amount of nitrates and phosphorus that may be involved in that material as it's coming down. So I think it'll goes back to sort of Midwest gravel, Midwest sand, Midwest, you know, from the USDA. And so I think that's where the data came from originally. I don't know that you can refine it any better than that. So I think that as far as the erosion part of it is sound. We still would like to see the water testing maybe during a big rain event especially at the bigger producers. We've got that down right now to what I would call major producers. There's probably 5 of them that we really need to focus on with the road commission. So we're going to take the data we collected on those 5 down there. There's another 15 that I would call it mining, but they're still producing, you know, maybe upwards of a ton of material every year. It's good, pretty good. So
They sort of balanced all the way around the lake between Garish and Lyon, or?
yeah, I think there was 2 majors in Garish, 3 in Lyon.
Okay.
About 50-50 split on 15 miners, 7 and 8, I think, something like that. So we'll set up a meeting with the road maintenance and with them and show the data we have on those and see what their thoughts are about maybe making some corrections down there. Some of them are major producers in the 319 stuff that got done needs to be checked on and maintained because it's not working right now from what we can see. So we'll get down with them and get them to come back out and do that. You know, we think there needs to be additional stuff that needs to be done with those. But just to make the stuff that's already been paid for and produced to work better, it's going to take some maintenance from them, and they're required under the grant.
Yeah, that's some obligation on the.
Yes.
Get back up to, Ethan, did I get you say, Ethan said that he looked at the methodology in the 1999.
Yeah, he looked back at the very first one and said, where did this, because that was our problem, was where did this come from? You know, how do you tell how much silt is coming out of our gravel on our sand? And I think what it came down to was you can get the geology for the whole area. I used to have a disc of it in my office where I could pull it up and look at the county and see where the marl was and where the silty materials were and that kind of stuff. And then there's all kinds of reports that you can get from people that have done wells over the years. So you can get that information, but he thinks the information was sound. It's a best guess kind of thing.
What about the 2010?
They used the same one. They
Same,
used the exact same methodology to figure out what was washing away. It was just me recorded change on what was there when they redid it, just like ours will change on some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them will be bigger producers and some will be a lot less. But we think there's probably 20 that we should really sit down with the road commission about, and then 5 of them that we really need to get them out working on sooner rather than
yeah,
later.
I'm anxious to see the graph, the three of them graphed against each other to see what's
Yeah.
happened over the years. That's gonna be interesting.
So your data is basically all collected now, and I think you said you were photographing them too. Oh, yeah, we got photos of everyone. Yeah. So other than the parallel. Yeah, we didn't. I think I took my first picture of a parallel road, and that was over on Michigan Central line. Yeah. Where it comes down, I think it's from Elm to Bass. Right. So I was looking at the two of those, and as I'm standing on Elm and looking down towards Bass, and you can see. Yeah. There's probably a quarter of it that is washing away with bad. So something needs to be done, whether it's the road, but we want to add it in, appendix, I think that's a good idea. Either add so,
Yeah.
but if we're talking about
Future, but
erosion,
it's nice to, don't, I guess. Don't add that in so that you can't use that data to compare the three. It's got to be sort of set aside. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what else we got? Just mention again, Jean Lawrence is working with us now. I don't know if you added her to the committee.
I didn't, but I should
can.
I can, yeah.
She'd like to be added.
I will.
And she's been in it 2 or 3 of our meetings already. She's got a wealth of historical information that is pretty handy when she has copies of a lot of stuff, and I think maybe it wouldn't hurt to have you guys sit down with her at some point and see what she has, or maybe the science to sit down and see what she
Tell me
has.
her last name.
Lawrence,
Lauren.
I think she has a lot of information.
She's in the back of the room right there.
But she's been making copies and bringing it to our meetings, not about the rodents, but she has information that's beyond the rodent stuff. A wealth of information, probably over the last 70 or 80 years, that probably should be added into whatever we're putting together, for people to review. So, we're gonna start, now that we've got the data sort of straightened out. Dave Hobson and I are putting that on, trying to digitize all that, and we made it through about half of it Sunday. So one more Sunday, we should have the other half ready to go. I still gotta get out and do some select UC kind of stuff, just to verify the reports. We want to clean them all up, of course, and make them look printable, and the pictures are, I think, they're going to be valuable. You'll be able to look over the last 30 years and see what has changed on those rodents, if anything. If it's good or bad. And so we should have that pretty well wrapped up in another Sunday. And of course, holidays. I'm gonna get done before I go to Myrtle Beach. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Or else,
And we'll try not to hold up the departure.
yeah.
By the way, I put in some money for, this grant application for, publication and stuff like that, so hopefully that'll help to get some of that stuff, if we get it. Help you get it published.
Yeah, if you'd like, I can send over, the list of that short 20, you guys wanna know where they are. We're gonna meet on Thursday, talk about the 20 producers,
Mhm, yeah.
5 major ones, and I can get those to you, so if you're out traveling, you can.
Have a look, yeah.
Take a look at one or, see what you think, and when you get there and why it's a big, because there's a big issue, so.
Yeah.
But that's all I got, I think. If you have questions, great.
Thanks, Tim.
Congratulations, Tom.
Thank you.
Oh, I have a question. A public question. Is there a match on the 40 grand?
No. Okay, that's all the committee reports. That's all that I had on the agenda, for the most part, will take any public comment if you want to second, no, that's me.
Yeah, that was slick.
I slipped right out last, didn't I? The septic committee continues to meet and putting together a draft of an ordinance that, we want to, the process is, I think I've mentioned it before, but just to go over it again, is the septic committee, has met with the health department and with some, septic haulers and, local inspectors that were involved in inspections and did a bunch of that research to start with, and then he started drafting. Then we came up with a list of the things we would like to see in an ordinance called attributes. We listed those, some 60 attributes we wanted in the ordinance, and then started drafting the actual document. Just so we could find a spot for those attributes and make sure that they all had a home. And then the process would be, once we've got that pretty well along, we've had some editing back and forth. And so I sent it off to the health department last week and had Taylor Irwin, the director of the health department, the Central Michigan District Health Department, take a look at it. And she has made a bunch of comments, and I don't have those with me to talk about, but we will at the septic committee. And so once we consolidate all of these comments and kind of go through it, vet it through one more time and have a cleaned up document. Right now, it's just a bunch of strikeouts and add-ins, and it's difficult to read through with a column full of comments that people have made. So it's valuable information, but it's very hard to read and doesn't make a lot of sense. So we'll clean that up and get that ready to go, and then the septic committee will send it to the steering committee to have a look at, send you home with it for a couple days, or maybe get it to you a couple days ahead of the next meeting. And then you can get a chance to review it and see if you got questions. And then we will forward that on to, I presume we will then forward it on to the township board, who will take a very quick look at it and forward it off to the planning commission, who then will actually do the hard work of drafting the actual ordinance. The ordinance we're gonna send to them is pretty good. I mean, it looks a lot like an ordinance, but they're probably, no doubt, they're gonna wanna do something different with it to make it look like other ordinances that they've done, so. And we don't know how long yet that's gonna take. I don't even know how long it's gonna take to get it, the first part to you and then to the board, and then, we're gonna meet, the septic committee doesn't meet until the first week of December again, so. So with the holidays and whatever, it could take till the first of the year to get that moving. So. But the draft is coming along good, and I think that it's overall it's an inspection-based ordinance. We're looking to provide a means where we can identify, where the properties are that don't have good, solid information about them, or if the information got lends it to be non-compliant lot. We want to identify those and then get a letter off to those folks and explain to them why they're non-compliant and what the process is to bring it to compliance. and get that ball rolling. And that'll be in conjunction with the health department, using their data, their database. And interface with our smaller database. And we can generate letters to these folks, so. That's all in works, and I think that's about it for the subject. Any questions?
Will those letters go out prior to the ordinance being adopted? Or, I mean, to try to get that additional information?
I guess it's probably not until everybody is weighed in on the ordinance and said, yep, this is what we're doing, and then, you know, carry on. And then we'll let it be the
Or you didn't have public hearing?
Oh, yeah, public hearings, and, you know, yeah. I think I'd be resistant to want to send those letters out until we knew what the ordinance was gonna say.
Right.
But in the meantime, we're working on, you know, gathering that data. I mean, it's probably not out of the question to have the data that's, you know, that's here, that if somebody wanted to say, is mine compliant, and well, if we're missing, you're still, we could probably make that available without any. You know. I haven't really thought that far through it, reading this stuff. Anything else? Now, public comment, I think the audience, if anybody, any public comment, yes, ma'am,
Two questions.
can I get your name, please?
Teresa Burble Corn.
Thank you.
It was stated that Eagle cuts loose some dollars annually. And that you've applied for a $40,000 grant, or you're in the process of doing that. Is that the maximum that you can get? Can you get more? Can you apply for more?
That's the max they're gonna let on this one, it's. I don't know if I saw them, do you know how many there were by any chance, how many grants they're giving, they're gonna give out a lot of grants, and the max is $40,000 per applicant.
I was thinking with 5 subcommittees, that's only 8,000 per subcommittee. And with, surveys, brochures, swag, water testing, additional staff, training, digitizing, etc. I don't think it's enough.
Oh, no,
You need more.
but it is $40,000.
All right, so that is the max, and you've applied, or you are applying for the max, okay?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Second question, if you are not successful in getting the grant, what is your plan?
Well, we'll just look elsewhere for the funding, or obviously things will go by the wayside, can't get done. But this is an opportunity, especially for the communications piece of it. And within the septic and the IT chunk, there's pieces in there that I think we really want to get done, and the health department's been really good to work with. I don't know about financially how well that's gonna go, but they've been really good to work with, and I think they'll help us through whatever those next steps are, I think, so. We'll just keep plugging, just keep looking, and we'll have our hand out wherever we can get it to. You know, we can look for funding. Sure. Anything else?
Jim, the total is 600,000 for the whole program throughout
There you
this.
go. There you go,
600,000.
640,000 per applicant.
There's going to be 15 grants awarded in all.
15 is 60,000, okay, yeah, that actually works, yeah. Okay, thanks, Ed. But like I said, the people, our folks that have looked through that said we're checking all the right boxes, so we're pretty confident that we're gonna be successful, but who knows? The people that have done this before, they know what they're doing, and pretty confident. Anything else? I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. So. Second,
I'll second.
and all those in favor by aye? Aye. Bring it at 8 o'clock.